Welcome to Rock Talk Lapidary, your podcast for everything rocks.
Coming to you every Thursday 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time.
Be sure to like, subscribe, and tap that bell. Let's get rockin'.
Hello and welcome to Rock Talk Lapidary, your place for everything rocks. We are stoked that we are going to have a super fun episode tonight. We have Brad Bartell of JBB Rocks. He's also one of our co-hosts. He is our guest co-host. He is so special because he's our guest. And we're excited to grill him and ask him as many questions as possible. So this place is your place to come to hang out with people who are very knowledgeable and have lots of information to share with you about everything that has to do with rocks, from mining to working rough to doing lapidary, everything that you could imagine. We do have some amazing co-hosts that know so much about a wide variety of things, and we think that that really helps set us apart. So what I'd like to do is introduce our co-hosts real quick, and then we'll bring Brad on like we do. And be sure to go to the comments. Now, if you're here from Facebook, you're going to have to log into YouTube to be able to comment. But that is how we do our weekly giveaway. And today it's my turn to give the giveaway. So I'm pretty excited about that. And I'm excited to hear about what everybody has been working on. If you don't know me, my name's Kirsten Safford. You are on Kirsten Safford Arts channel. And this podcast, we're in our second season. We are also playing on Anchor and Spotify. So if you're tuning into this at a later date and listening, I really hope that you leave a comment. Let us know what you like, what would help. Spotify does have video now, so that's great. But if you're driving and you can't watch the video and you're just listening to us, please let us know how we can get better. That's all we want to do. We just want to get a little bit better every episode for you guys. So without any further ado, I'm going to bring on our first co-host. And I always like to surprise them because they're behind the scenes messing around. So who is not paying attention? Matt Sams. I see you laughing.
Of course I'm laughing.
So what's new with you since last week?
Oh, since last week, just grinding it out. Yep, grinding it out. I finished about, 17 pieces so far this week.
Cabochons?
Yep, nice cabs. Working on some smaller ones. I've got some rings that I've been commissioned to do. So getting ready for some of those and just some various pieces.
Just in case nobody here knows this, but I can see everybody behind the scenes right now, and Ryan is being very funny. So I can't wait to bring him on and make him do what he's doing right now so everybody can see. But I noticed that you have a business listed down here. Is this new?
It is new. Yep. I figured it's time to kick the training wheels off and go. So here we are, Redbeards, Rocks, and Global Treasures.
I love the name. Let's go ahead and bring on our next co-host. We got Ryan in the background being silly. I'm going to bring Dave on. Dave Layton.
Hey, everybody. So you brought me on because I'm less silly than Ryan? Is that what it is?
Well, I want you to be here to roast him when he comes on. We'll roast Ryan, not Brad. So what's new with you this last week?
It's just been a busy week for life in general, but I am trying to get my shop a few things revamped. Had to buy some new wheels for my cabbing machine and trying to get ready because Tuesday next week I am going to be a part of my first live show to sell all of the pop sockets that we have for the charity that we support. And so for everybody out there who doesn't know, we run a small autism charity that we buy rock tumblers and we give to kids who have autism. And so we invite everybody to come over to Facebook and join Rock Tumblers for Autism. You can see it on my name that I learned how to change right there just a little while ago. Giant brains and all of that, but it was somebody else's brain that did it. But come on over and join us and have fun.
Yeah, Rock Tumblers for Autism is one of the groups that I help admin. I don't really do much, but I love the idea of helping out kids and giving them something to be excited about every day.
Right.
So it's a very cool thing. So the next person I am going to invite on is going to be Courtney. Courtney.
Hello, everybody. How are you tonight?
I think we are all good.
Good.
The comment section is banging.
Yes,
got a lot of
it
people
is.
here.
Yes, it is. So I'm Courtney King, CNS Services. I cut cabs. I'm getting a little bit more into making jewelry. Not super.
A little more into
business.
making jewelry. That
Doing
sounds very fun.
Yeah, like just doing like some glue and bales and some posts, for earrings and that kind of stuff. I've had some people ask me to do some things, so that's kind of cool. I haven't done a lot of cutting yet this year because my other company has exploded, not in a good way. So I've been replacing staff and training and and that kind of stuff. But I managed to get 4 hours in my rock shop today to get some stuff roughed out, and I'm felt so good to have hands and nails and play with rocks again. So I'm super stoked about ramping back up and getting some inventory back in and getting back to posting new stuff every week. Other than that,
that's awesome.
I'm just curious, does roughed out mean you have them strung all over your shop like I do?
Oh, I'm quite sure I have them all over my house like you do. Yeah. Yeah, and then, the scrap piles and everything else, because, can't throw away not one little piece of a rock.
Absolutely not. I have boxes full of
I've got
scraps.
bins of scrap piles, and it's a mess, but it's a beautiful,
Stick them in the
wonderful
tumbler.
mess. Eventually. Yeah,
Some of them I do, yeah.
Yeah, I used to actually sell boxes of scraps. I don't do that anymore. I just give them away now if people want them.
I am convinced.
Or they go out in the gnome garden,
Right?
That's cool.
Someday we're going to have
gnomes
the gnomes
like
make
rocks
miniature cabs.
too. That's right. Gnomes like rocks too. They like pretty stuff. So, but other than that, it's just life. We're just muddling along.
Oh, wow. So it sounds like it's just been hectic and crazy, and then you just get like a couple minutes to yourself, and you just melt it into the...
Yes. Yeah. It was 5 weeks of what I like to call HELL. 7 days a week, at least 5 hours a day. It was a lot, but we're back to a normal for me schedule starting this week. So yes, it's nice to.
I'm glad you're getting a break.
It's nice to be back and be able to breathe again. Thank you.
That's awesome. I am going to bring on Ryan Brown now. Ryan.
See, it never stops. It never stops.
What's up, guys?
So tell us what this last week has, what's changed or what you've worked on.
Slabs. I slabbed a lot. I slabbed a lot. We've been having our shows.
Oh, you just finished a show right before you came on, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
How fun.
I'm wearing different plugs.
I was going to say, those are some nice plugs you got in tonight, Ryan.
Come on, camera. There we go. Yeah, I'm wearing my Suge Light plugs Courtney made for me.
Those are nice.
Courtney made those. Wow, that is so impressive.
Yeah, I made the.
Are they super heavy?
Normally wears too.
No.
They don't feel like.
No, stone doesn't feel heavy in my ears anymore. It's been a couple years, so.
Well,
now if they're gone, I'm like, I'm naked.
All right, so tonight we have Brad, who is a master sphere maker, and I'm going to go ahead and bring him on. He's also one of our co-hosts. Hi, Brad.
Hello. How is everybody tonight?
Hey,
What's up,
Brad.
Brad?
Great.
Hola.
So tell us what you have had new in the last week.
The last week has been rough for me. I had some emergency dental surgery done, and so I was laid up for about 4 or 5 days. It was pretty bad. I finally started to get back on my feet and feeling better, so it's all good.
Good.
You know, life happens. It is what it is. I've been getting prepped for a big show I'm doing this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, so we've been busy making a bunch of new spheres, trying to get some new product out on the table for this show. So
Nice. And where's that show, sir?
that show is in Layton, Utah at the Davis Event Center.
Okay.
So anybody
Yes.
who's in Layton, come up and see us. If you aren't following me on JBB Rocks and Metal Art, come and follow us. We are going to do 2 live shows, one Saturday and one Sunday. So we're going to kind of put everything up. Hopefully one of the 2 shows, depending on how busy it is, we're actually going to walk through the whole show so everybody can get an idea of what is at this show and see what they said. If the time prepares, we'll actually put some stuff up for sale and let people purchase from the show via live feed. So
Nice.
we're kind of excited to do it.
I'm super excited because I'm going to go and I'm going to bring my husband, who never goes and does anything rock related. So it'll be really interesting to see. I'm hoping to shoot and film a little bit. And Tammy wants to know, do you know what the times are for the show?
The show itself is from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. I think, depending on, again, here we go, we're kind of hoping to do it at 2 o'clock on Saturday afternoon and probably somewhere about noonish on Sunday, depending on the crowds. Obviously, if we're so busy that me or my wife can't break away to do a live feed, then the times will change. But that's kind of tentatively 2 and noon. If, like I said, go follow me on JBB Rocks and Metal Art on Facebook. We'll post all the times. That's where we'll be doing the live feed from, and we'll try to post about an hour ahead of time to give everybody a little bit of a time to see the post and a heads up that we're going to start. So
Nice.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
I need
great.
to tag in that one.
Brad, I just got to say, I hope you have better luck in Layton than I did.
the last couple of shows have been really, really fun shows up there in Layton. So hopefully it keeps.
I did the ultimate show. I got married there the first time.
Oh, well, I don't plan on getting married
The
next
first time.
weekend. That's not on our list.
Yeah, so this rock show is really special to me because my mentor, one of them, the very first person I learned how to cab from, it's his daughter that runs it. You know, he used to have this great big rock shop downtown Salt Lake City, and in the back there was like tons of machines, and so he had a little school, and that's where I first got to use a big saw. You know how intimidating that is your first time, and it was great. So his daughter runs it, and there's usually quite a lot of people that show up for it. There's people that sell all kinds of things, everything rock related, and you can get some really, really good deals. Saturday, I don't know what time I'm going to be there, but I will be there at some point. So if you see me, I won't look like this. I will look like a homeless person probably, which is fine. But just don't be afraid to come up and say hi to me. I would love that.
And you know something? If you've never been to Layton, Utah, it's actually a beautiful little town. And it would be worth, just going to see Brad and go see the show, go see the sites around the area. It's not far from Ogden. I'll be coming up to see Kirsten this summer, and I think we talked about this on the last episode. And I always make that trip over to Layton. Of course, the Hardee's doesn't exist there anymore, where I worked when I was a teenager and a young adult. But it's a great little town still. So go out and see the sites. Just go visit and go see everybody. You'll love it.
Nice.
Absolutely.
I need to go to Baltimore. My mentor's up here.
Yeah.
Aw.
I've been waiting 2 years for
I know.
him to
We
come.
need to come.
I even remodeled what bedroom for him and everything. Still waiting.
Nice. Now I want to go see ya.
You can come too.
Boy,
Everybody can
apprentice.
come.
I
Let's see.
was
One,
gonna say I
two,
want to make the
three,
trip down to
four,
visit
five.
Matt. Have him take me out fishing.
Come on, let's go.
Kidding, right?
Right?
Anytime. I got a room for you.
Right on.
Although I'm going to tell you, I saw some of the lures that Matt makes. Whatever you do, don't stand behind him when he casts, because that hook's big enough to throw a shark out in the water with. Matt makes his own lures, by the way, so something really interesting. I don't know if everybody
Nice.
knew or not.
Yeah.
That's
yeah, I
crazy.
do. Let's see.
Jack of all trades and good at 2 or 3 of them.
I don't know about good at any of them, but
Look at that.
Oh my.
Man.
we'll catch fish.
Yeah,
Is
buddy.
that for deep
I love the
sea?
colors.
Is that for deep sea or is that just normal fishing?
Yeah.
Okay,
Offshore.
that's a
stuff.
big lure. So yeah. Okay. Okay.
That's what
All
I'm saying.
right.
It has a hook big
All
enough
right,
to throw a
everybody,
shark.
enough
All
laughing.
right. Let's
ready to-
talk about
I'm ready to grill
Brad.
the Brad.
Brad.
Yeah. What is this about Brad? And who is Brad?
They've
by
been
the way?
Wait, we
dreaming
gotta
about
put him in
this
the
for a long
box.
time.
She's going to box you in there, Brad.
Yes, she is.
I'm trying to box you.
Box me out. Oh,
There we go.
There he is. All right.
All right,
Who
let
wants
this
to-
roast begin.
Yes.
bring it on.
Who wants to ask the first?
Not a
one?
rose for grilling him.
All right. All right. So, what got you into spheres first? Why spheres?
Well, I've always liked spheres, but I've been a rock hound since I was a little kid. Both my granddads were actually rock hounds. My granddad on my dad's side I never got to meet, but he always had a big collection out in his backyard, and I was always interested. He was the type of gentleman that he didn't go buy his tools, he made them. So I was always into it. Again, I like spheres, and everybody's priced a sphere. They know how much they are. So it was something for me that, hey, I can't afford to go buy all the spheres I want. So I decided one day, I tell everybody I had to come up here and buy 10 acres just so I had somewhere to store my rock collection. So I decided, what the heck, let's learn how to make spheres. And so I started learning how to make spheres, and here we are now that I've made thousands of spheres since I started about 5 years ago.
Now, by up there, you mean you're if I remember correctly, you're in what, Roosevelt or up close to Vernal?
I live in a little town called Fruitland, Utah, which is
I know
about
where it
an
is.
hour and a half east of Salt Lake City.
Okay.
Halfway between Salt Lake and Vernal. We're not much of a town. We got just a little teeny gas station, and that's the only thing in town. If I need to mail packages or anything, it's a 45-minute drive either direction. Doesn't matter. So,
Well, that describes most of Utah until 6 months ago.
yeah, that's true.
So I have a question for you, Brad, because one of the interesting things about the spheres, and I think, I've thought about getting me a machine to do them with. But when I look at it, it seems like the smaller ones, the minimum cuts on those are 13 cuts, and on the high end, you got 27 cuts on some of those. And that just seems like a lot of work.
It is. So right now, I still do it the old school way with my saw. And yeah, I make 26 cuts per sphere. One day I'll grow up and buy a core drill machine, which will allow me to only have to make 5 cores to have a preformed blank. But that's, if you go buy Highland Park's machine, and that's the one I really want, is Highland Park's hydraulic core drill machine, it's $11,000.
That's for the
a
little
big
one.
chunk of change.
Yeah, no, that's for the little one. The big one is 20 grand.
Cheers to
Yeah.
Cammy had a good one.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull it up here.
Tammy wants to know what's your favorite material, absolute favorite, and least favorite materials to work, and why.
Work. Yep.
Ooh, to work. Gosh. I like working the softer materials, your calcites, stuff like that, just because they're more forgiving.
Yeah.
If you pay attention to them, but at the same time, they're not more forgiving, because if I turn my back and a cup hangs up, I have a 3/4 inch deep groove in my sphere in a matter of a couple of seconds. But I don't know. I don't know that I could say I have something that's more favorite than the other. I like the variety. If for instance, if I take a piece of agate and I make 7 spheres out of the same rough rock, I have 7 different spheres when I get done with them. All 7 of them look completely different, even though the rough rock was 100% the same piece. And so I can't say that I necessarily have a favorite or a least favorite. Obviously, the harder the stone, the longer it takes me to get a sphere done. The softer the stone, the faster I can get it done.
Right.
So,
Right.
What's an average time, typical time frame for a sphere? I get it varies, but what's a
for doing it with the saw, the old school way, I'm 12 to 15 hours per sphere. And you know, like I tell everybody, yeah, I'm 12 to 15 hours, but how long does it take my saw to make them 26 cuts? Spend a lot of time in the saw.
Right.
Once I get into the sphere, into the machine itself, I'm still about 4 hours in from a rough grind to a polished sphere. And I don't know, I go through 9 steps in my polishing process. It's just the way I have started doing them. I start out with my rough grind as a 40 grit. Then I go to my 100 grits and 500s and 800s and 12s, 15, 3000s. Then I go up to a 14 and a 50,000 on some stones. And then I use a ceronium oxide. I had Ryan, I was working on a piece of Wonderstone that I wish I had it. It's boxed up for the show. It had an okay shine on it. Ryan gave me a suggestion just last week. Says, hey, Brad, take some material and polish it dry. Well, I tell you what, the difference between what I thought was a good polish for Wonderstone and using a dry polish, there it is. That looks like actually before I polished it the final time after Ryan, it doubled the shine on it. So I'm still always learning, even though I've made thousands of spheres. I can still learn from other people and other people's suggestions. I like talking to sphere makers and other people.
Right. Jennifer wants to know, do you ever make beads?
I have never made beads. My machine, I go down to just about 2 1/4 inch, and I can do up to 6 inch.
Okay.
So you have to, obviously, to spin beads, I have to have a little teeny machine, and hell, I haven't spent the money to buy the machine for that. I guess I could always take them and grind them by hand, which I've done with my cab machine. I've made a few spheres that way in my times too. So.
Okay.
Do you use like a plumber's coupler for that? Because that's how I've always learned how to do spheres on a cab machine.
Oh yeah, on a sphere machine, I take a piece of, say I'm doing a 2 inch sphere. I have a piece of 1.5 inch pipe that I've cut off just the middle height of my discs on my wheels, and then so I set it right in the wheels, and that's how I keep it. As you stay in that piece of pipe, you can roll it around. It helps keep it perfectly round.
Okay. Well, you just answered all of my questions real quick. That's literally, really what I wanted
Charles
to know.
Jr. had one there, Courtney.
Yes. He wants to know, as being a person who loves obsidian as much as he does, do you make spheres out of obsidian at all?
I have.
Is that the really reflective one?
Yeah, do you have a picture of that one?
I do.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Oh, that's gorgeous. Is it just black, or was it just the color wasn't picking up?
That one is just a solid black obsidian. I've done silver sheens. I've done gold sheens. I've got a couple of mahoganies. That's what I was looking at here real quick. I got my totem right here next to me. If I can find it fast, I will. If not, we'll...
It looks like an MC Escher.
There is a mahogany obsidian.
Mahogany.
That I just finished up.
Nice.
That is gorgeous.
I had a gentleman that does cabs, really good friend of mine in Heber City, Utah. His name's Errol Savage. He made some amazing cabs. When I first started into this, Errol told me, he says, Brad, I'll tell you what, if a guy can get a mirror shine on a piece of obsidian, he can dang near polish anything. Right. I spent a lot of time polishing obsidian just because I wanted to say, yeah, I can do that. Well, those 2 pictures show that I feel I've made it to where, yep, I can polish obsidian. So there isn't nothing I can't do. Don't get me wrong. There's some, I've got 10 of them sitting out in the shop that I got all the way up to 1500 grit, looked at them all, threw them back off to the side, and I'm starting them all over because I wasn't happy with them. I had scratches that I found later down the road. So, well, they're back in the pile to start all over again. It is what it is. And I was doing a big chunk of corporalite. I got that thing perfectly round. It wasn't quite perfectly round. It had a flat spot about the size of a pencil eraser, and it split right in half on me.
Oh, no.
It happened.
Oh.
There's nothing I can do about it. It goes in the pile. I'll run it through the saw, make slabs out of it, and do something different with it.
That's what you get for messing with poop.
Yep, exactly. But that old saying, I can polish a turd and make it shine, I promise.
There you go, right?
I was literally Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, honey.
I was just gonna say during my live show that I just had, we cut open a Koyamito agate, a pseudomorph.
Yep.
And we went to go show it on the show, and it said poo-poo when you put the 2 halves together. I'm dead serious. I'll have to get some pictures so we could show it on here one of these days. It just says poo-poo in it. It's hilarious.
That's hilarious.
Hang on, guys. It looks like something's going on with our internet, so we don't have any storms going on. Brad, can you hear me?
Yep.
Tammy confirmed.
Okay, good.
Yep.
Everybody's moving now. All right. So I want to know how you came up with the name JBB Rocks.
Well, it's just Brad Bartell.
There you go.
That's awesome.
You gotta say, I just redid my logo for the business about 8 months ago. If it wasn't for just rebranding, because I used to do JBB metal art, that's what I started doing a lot of metal art where I take shovels and turn them into yard decorations, into bird feeders, horseshoe art that I'd make crosses, whatever. And then as my rock business started growing and growing, I didn't have as much time for the metal art as much, so we rebranded to JBB Rocks. Well, if I would have thought about it, we probably would have rebranded and went to Sasquatch Rocks or Yeti Rocks. Everybody that meets me, I'm 6'1", I weigh 270 pounds. I'm a pretty big feller. And obviously I got lots of facial hair and long hair. I've always carried it. So I get lots of friends that call me Sasquatch. So, but we rebranded, so we'll stick with JBB Rocks for right now.
See, and I think that would have sounded great if it just was just being Brad.
Just being Brad, yep.
You know we're going to come up with all kinds of things for that acronym now.
Absolutely.
Right?
That's good.
So you do much more than spheres, though, right? You do carvings and make lamps and all kinds of good stuff.
I'm going to say, I don't think I sent Kirsten any lamps. Just a second, I'll pull one of those off. I got one right here. So these are some little guys. These are some little guys we put together. They're made out of cement. They're little Groots that we put some quartz crystals in their heads.
Let me tell you, I have one of those, and it is so cool, you guys. I got it just a few days ago. My husband fell in love with him. And I got it from Brad. He is so awesome.
And so, if anybody in the rock world familiar with the honeycomb calcite that comes from Utah, I love working with the stone. It's very pretty. It's a yellowish color with white limestone that runs through it. I don't have the outlet's not close enough, so we're not going to light this one up tonight. But I take that honeycomb calcite and I cut it, dip it in a hydrochloric acid, and I put on this particular one, it's got a walnut base on it. And we turn those into like little night lamps. They're not super bright, but just for a little light glow in the nighttime, they're awesome.
Nice.
Super awesome. What a beautiful
cool.
stone.
Yeah.
I make
That is Utah's state stone.
Yep.
Is it?
It sure is. It comes from a part of the country up here the Shamrock Mining was one of the originals that found it. They're based out of Hanna, Utah, which is about 20 miles from me. The pits are up in the high Uintas, and that's the actual mine site himself is about 50 miles from where I live.
Well, now, and Brad, you don't make just stuff like that. You also do cabbing, and where I often give David Garcia, you know, he was the first one I ever saw make a pop socket, but it was about that same time that I connected with you in one of the rock groups because you were making them as well, and you and I did some talking and helped me get straightened out some areas that I was having difficulties. So you do cabbing as well as all of the rest of this.
Yeah, I do. I cab. I make lots of pop sockets. Oh my gosh, I don't know. I've done a lot of different when it comes to the lapidary world. I started out, like I said, just as a sphere maker and making cabs. And then I just started tinkering and making different stuff from there. I mean, I've gone all the way as far as, I don't know, crazy what I step back and think of all the stuff I've made out of rocks nowadays, and it kind of just makes me laugh of, oh, you started out just as a collector. Now you got piles. Now we go to a table and we also buy wholesale and resell, you know, selenite, different stuff that I could buy from other people all over the world. But we go to set up at a show now, and we're up to 6-foot tables to get all of our product on the tables. And that's been in the last 2.5 years that me and Monica, my wife, have made that business grow into what it is now.
Wow.
I really like your setup. I think it's great because you go in and he's just got this huge variety of just like all kinds of things to look at. It's not just one thing and it's not just one rock. So yeah, the variety that you carry is chef's kiss.
We tried to keep everything on our tables, everything from that little dollar item for that little kid that got $1 for mom and dad to go spend at the show, all the way up to I got $300 and $400 plus items on our tables. So we've got the whole gamut. I mean, you want hearts, you want mushrooms, you want spheres. I don't, depending on the show I go to, I don't carry a lot of rough or slabs with us unless it is a specific rock show. Then I'll take roughs and slabs. But a lot of the shows that we do are like little 4th of July events, art shows. Vernal does a big balloon festival. We go to that. So we do a lot of those smaller festivals, so we don't carry all the slabs and rough as much.
Well, and honestly, I know people will say $300-400, but when you've got things like spheres on the table, that's actually not a very high price. Spheres get some of them up into the upper hundreds or even into the thousands with some of the spheres that are out there.
Sure.
Oh yeah, I've got some sitting around here on the table right now that are, you know, I think most everything I pulled out, if I was going to show people, are right there in that $100 price range. I've got one big, really nice Lucin Varisite sphere that I have put around in a box. It's a $300 sphere. So I carry a big variety again on spheres. The biggest problem with the sphere market, to be 100% honest with you, I cannot compete against Mexico, Madagascar, stuff like that on what you can buy them for. So,
and that's,
with that being
you're
said,
just going to see.
People appreciate things that say made in the USA on them.
Right.
Exactly.
And unique.
And made by hand, too.
Yeah.
You know?
Unique.
Yeah.
Not mass marketed. Yeah.
So, and don't get me wrong, you come to one of our shows, you're going to see some of those Madagascar spheres and stuff sitting on my table. Well, guess what? If a guy wants to buy it, if a kid comes in and wants to buy a $10 sphere, I can sell you a $10 sphere. Right. But when you look at them compared to the spheres I put on the table and that I've made, you can see why it's a $10 sphere versus a $100 sphere.
Right.
So I often tell people about my experience the first time buying material out of Indonesia, and the guy there, I bought some petrified wood. It was native copper, opalized, the whole 9 yards. And when I got that pre-slab stuff, it looked like somebody had laid a wire saw across it, and it was just all different directions and different thicknesses. And I mean, some of it still, I haven't even found a way to use some of it. So, you know, they don't have the tools and technology in some of those countries that we use here, nor the money to buy it. So yeah, sometimes what you get isn't quite what we expect to see from someone like that Brad makes.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. So
We did have
Somebody asked, what sphere machine do you use?
So I have a Covington 3-head machine and a Highland Park 3-headed machine, both. I've got two of them. They both have got their pros. They both have got their cons. If I could, I would be buying the Highland Park hard speed machine because it'd take my polish time a lot slower. But just that Highland Park 3-head machine, I can't even. Last time I priced it, I think it was about $6,000 for that particular machine.
Yeah. I just looked at those this week.
So my machine,
$6,000. Wow.
Yeah. But even the Highland Park standard machine, they're still like $2,500 if I remember right. Don't quote me on prices. Yeah. It's been a long time.
They have a small one for $1,900, and here's the thing. So Brad's making these spheres, and he's got the cost of his material, the cost of his sphere machine, but it doesn't stop there because there are 3 cups for each grit involved for each stage, and the things are expensive. It is a really spendy prospect to get into making spheres, and that's why I haven't done it.
So if you spend the time to buy, say you buy the pre-made ones, they're really expensive. I have designed my own spheres or my own cups. But don't get me wrong, they're still not cheap, but I use PVC plumbing fittings and diamond polishing pads like you would use on granite countertops.
Okay.
That I glue onto the sphere machines, so I can make a set of cups for somewhere in the neighborhood of $40 instead of. So it's a lot cheaper, but it's still expensive.
Yeah, because a half-inch cup, custom made, are $40 to $50 a piece just for each of the half-inch.
Yeah. And see, so I think the sphere you're talking about, Dave, is that the little 2-headed machine by Highland Park?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that little 2-headed machine, I have been around them. I've seen them. They're good for doing marbles. So like 3/4 inch up to about 2 inch. But you can't. That's rough to get anything bigger than that. You can do it. I know guys that do it, but it's rougher. That's why I don't do anything smaller than 2.5. Is because here we go again. The machine I have to get anything smaller than that is hard.
Right, and I believe Covington has the same thing, don't they? They have a small 2-head.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. Both have a small 2-headed machine. And like I said, both machines have got their pros and cons. I like them both. I honestly, if somebody was in the market to buy a sphere machine, I would tell you to look at both and see who's going to give you the best price and the best deal at the time, because they're both amazing machines. I got one machine I dedicate directly to my rough grind because I don't take the time to round them as much as other people do. Some people will take but I'll show you. So here we go. We're going to kind of show you a little bit here real quick. I start out with a square block, obviously, right? Then as I start making cuts, I end up into a piece that looks like this. That's the way I cut them. Okay. So people take the time to grind them down really smooth, even rounder than this. This is one I've taken all my corners off and got it started to a round position.
Mm-hmm.
I know people that take them even so they're dang near round when they put them in their sphere machine. So I might spend a little more time in my rough cup, but me standing on top of my saw, I got a sanding tool set up that I've got 5 4.5-inch diamond concrete discs that I've bolted onto, and that's what I use to cut my corners off with. So once I get it that way, I've got a machine that I've got it set up directly for rough grind, because it beats that machine up bad. Obviously, when you got flat spots, you can imagine how bad that cup rocks and rolls.
Right.
So those, I use a metal cup on those that I have found diamond segments that I buy that I actually braze onto the metal plumbing cups. That's all they are. Mine are all 3/4 to 1.5 inches, 2.5, 3.5, depending on what size sphere I'm making. And I braze these diamond segments onto that. And obviously they wear out. So when they get done, when I wear them all the way out, I have to start over and braze them on. But each one of those brazing cups are best price I have found is $3.50 a piece. A 2.5 inch cup takes 7 of them. So
And I think that's a segue into Tammy's question about how did you figure out how to make those cups?
So nowadays, honestly, you can find so much information on YouTube and everything about how to make cups, how to make a sphere. When I started doing them, the people that were making spheres weren't giving any secrets and information out. So honestly, I started watching people that would give you a little blurb of their machine, and I'd see what they were making, and I'd pick it up. I've been in the construction industry my entire life, so I've been really good at just making that kind of stuff. And so I started looking at different ideas, and I've talked to hundreds and hundreds of sphere makers in the United States and around the world, and just picked their brains and got ideas. So I can't say that they're 100% my idea of the way I make my sphere cups. It's a collaboration from every sphere maker I've met and talked to in the country.
Well, and I think that's lapidary in a nutshell, isn't it? I mean, nobody knows it all, and it has taken a lot of people all over who have come together, and the expertise that is out there, we've all learned from somebody else.
Exactly. And the day I tell this to no matter what you're doing in the world, if you're too good to learn from somebody else, you're in the wrong industry, period. I don't care if it's lapidary, sheet metal, construction, teaching school like for you, Dave. I mean, everybody's got a different way of doing it. Doesn't make it right or wrong. You can take what you like from somebody else and use it in your own life, or move on and do something different.
So
Jaws wants to know if you're willing to help out someone who is starting off on making spheres.
I do not have a problem with helping people out. I like to share the information. I like to teach other people.
I'm just going to tell you, Jaws, if you start making spheres, I'm camping your doorstep.
Like, honestly, if you're interested, have got questions, send me a PM. I'll try the best I can. I love helping people and watching other people learn. You know, I can, trust me, if you come up around my place, I have pieces of spheres from when I first started laying in piles all over the place that I've just trashed because I screwed them up. They didn't work out. My cuts were wrong, whatever. So if I could take some of that learning curve out for somebody else, I gladly do it.
Why we're here, right?
Absolutely. That's a big part of why I have this channel even. When I got started, nobody else was doing drama lapidary. And so I started making videos. Like, I was at the time learning from my mentor, and then I would learn a lesson and come onto YouTube right away and share that information. A lot of it is so that it would help me remember, but you know, I don't think that any information should be kept hidden. I think everything should be out in the open. So there is a lot of people that don't want secrets to be shared, don't want people to teach how to do certain things, and those are the people that we got to work hard to avoid.
That's right.
I think you were spot on, Brad. I think you were right on, at least for me, right? When you learn anything, and I'm fairly new at lapidary craft myself, but it's not learning from any one particular person, right? It's learning from a multitude of different folks and picking up what works for you. We all have different equipment. We have different resources. You've got different
Lay down in your bed, baby.
Stuff, right? There's the differences are endless, but you pick up what you can use off of everybody, and you kind of conglomerate your own method, what works for you, and you adjust from there, right? Yep. And fortunately, we've got these folks, and for all the folks that are listening in right now, they have a plethora of knowledge and information that also can, pull from that and ask questions. Yeah, I mean, who was it? Was it Jaws that was looking for help? You should absolutely reach out to Brad, and he'll be more than glad to help you out.
Well, I always lean back, so a little back, I guess. My trade is sheet metal. I've done sheet metal heating and air conditioning for almost 30 years. And I used to run some big 20, 30-man crews, and I used to tell my crews, you know what? I'm the one running the job. At the end of the day, I'm the one that's responsible for it. But if I tell you to go do something, and I tell you a certain way to do it, but you have an idea that you think might be better, don't be afraid to bring it to my attention. Point it out to me. If I like your idea or I think it'll work, I'm going to tell you, let's go ahead and do it. But at the same time, if there's a reason I've told you to do it a certain way, I'm also going to tell you that reason of why you have to do it this way. It might be not because it's my idea, but maybe that's the way the job's requiring it to be done. And it's the same thing with sheet or lapidary work. All of us here make cabs of one kind or another, and I know we all do it a little bit different, but it doesn't mean that I can't learn something from each and every one of everybody that makes cabs and pick something up that's going to make it a little easier for me, or it's a little better. I mean, heck, here we go. I just told you I've been making spheres for 5 years, and I get Ryan here a week ago says, "Hey, Brad, try this." Well, guess what? I stepped up and tried it, and hey, if I do any more Wonderstone, I will be polishing them that way because it made a heck of a difference. I learned something. So what?
Yep.
I can't quit learning.
Got anything, Courtney?
Well, we just, we have to remember, though, too, that, all those people that want to keep secrets and don't want to share and like Kirsten said, those are the people we want to avoid. But I mean, my God, why not share the knowledge? Why not share the joy of lapidary? We all have different styles. We all have different things that we like to do.
Absolutely.
And we all learned from somebody or somebody's down the line. So I don't know, for me, like, yeah, please take freely from me what was freely given to me. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So not to change the subject, but like your wife and your daughter help you with all of this stuff, right?
Just my wife. I don't have any daughters.
Oh, who has a daughter? I feel like maybe it was your wife that made something that was really cute. She make a mushroom under glass or something.
She made
That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Matt's daughter with the ammonite thing.
This little guy.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, I like that.
So cute.
She took the rose quartz mushroom.
Wow.
Put it in a jar, and she glued a little fairy into it. So it's
I love that.
That is super cute.
Little fairy garden.
That.
I need one of those for my little girl. I need one of those.
You need that.
That's awesome.
So yeah, that's one that she came up with, that she put together, and she's actually the one that come up with the Groot idea.
Okay.
She saw the cement Groot one day and says, "Hey, what if we put crystals in his head and light him up?" Right. So we worked together, and I helped her glue him in pieces. She put them in, and here we go. Now people loved them, so we made some more.
There you go.
Awesome.
I love the teamwork. That impresses me so much.
I love the creativity.
It's the only way you can.
Kirsten, that
in
was
my
just what
opinion,
I was thinking, yeah.
It's the only way you can make a business work. One person cannot run a business by themselves, period, end of story. I don't care how good you are. It takes a team of people to do it. I mean.
Yeah, and to have family that's involved with you just makes it that much more special.
Oh, yeah.
It gives Go ahead, honey.
I honestly, I would not be where we are with JBB Rocks if it wasn't for her. She's the one that's pushed me more and more and more to spread my wings and show people what we can do, and has made the business what it is today.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I'd be lost without my little brother, so I understand.
There's so much to be said for having the supportive family. So much to be said.
For sure.
I just saying, I've got both my parents that we live on the same piece of property up here, and my parents support me 100%. I mean, I've got part of my rock shop set up in my dad's wood shop right now. That's where my sphere machines are because my rock shop ran out of room. So he's there to support me, and he's spent his share of time out watching the spheres go around in circles for me to help me get them done.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I think I see him in the rock community, like making posts or making comments and stuff.
Oh, he shares a lot. He shares my posts all the time. He shares Monica's posts. My mom's there. She supports us. In fact, I mean, my truck that I usually use to haul my trailer around, it's an old 1994 Power Stroke. Well, it's got some issues right now. So my mom went to Salt Lake to visit my sisters and spend some time down there. She took our car and left me her truck so I could go to the show this weekend. So the family support's there 100%. It's awesome.
That is
it would
awesome.
be great to have that. My wife reminds me at least once a week that this shop, I stole this from her. This was supposed to be her chemistry lab. There's not that continuity like you have there, Brad.
No, it's
chemistry.
Really awesome. I was going to say, this is another one that Monica came up with that I thought was kind of cool.
Wow,
We love these air plants. And she found these little, they're dinosaurs that are made out of metal. And she says, why don't we make a little air plant on that geode? That could be kind of a cool little item. So that's another
cute.
one she came up with.
Feed that creativity, bro. Feed it.
I love it.
It's amazing, the stuff.
That looks like one of the old time the 50s and 60s when they were making the dinosaur shows and they had those caves. They used stuff like that as props, and that's exactly what that reminded me of.
Yep. She saw somewhere, and I can't remember where it was. My wife, she grew up in Utah, but never really got to see Utah. She pretty much stayed right in the Salt Lake Valley. And since we got together, I've showed her a lot of the different states. And so every time we go to a show that's away from home, I make sure we spend an extra day, and I take her and show her a little bit more of the country around where that particular show is. And it was in one of the shops. Everybody's seen the ones where they put the pewter miners with the railroad tracks and stuff in a geode. Well, that's kind of what gave her the idea. When she saw those dinosaurs, she told me, I know what we're doing with that geode.
There you go.
Nice. I love that she comes up with those unique ideas. That's really very cool.
Yeah. She's come up with a couple of ideas that, in fact, to be 100% honest with you, it's her fault that I started making pop sockets. She's the one that told me I needed to do them. And I was like, they're not, why? I shouldn't have argued with her. I should have started making them sooner because they've been a pretty good seller for us.
Right. Very nice. Anybody else got any questions for Brad?
Yeah, I just made a post in there asking everybody.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I see it now.
Don't be shy, everybody. Don't let us do
Brad's
all
an
of the
open
talking.
book. He'll answer whatever.
Right.
So you're like moving towards opening a brick and mortar rock shop, right?
Hopefully by end of the summer, we have a brick and mortar opened up right here on the property. That's our goal, is to get that opened up and running. So we're pretty excited. We got our fingers crossed. I mean, the plan's in motion. Stuff's working that direction. So it's going to happen. It's the date that it's kind of up in the air right now.
Now,
do you need help?
You got $100,000? That's a help I need right now.
I wish.
So Jen wants to know if you ever come and do shows here on the East Coast.
You know what, Jennifer? I've never been to the East Coast. Right now, the only shows we've been doing is right here in Utah. We've done a couple in southern part of Wyoming. This year, there's some big plans to kind of start spreading out a little bit. There's a possibility that, well, knock on wood, it works out, that I'll be in nice sunny weather for 3 months this year. I might have a spot in Quartzsite, Arizona for 3 months.
Nice.
So
that's awesome.
That's something else we're kind of working on right now. And so we're just going to have to see how it goes. You know how those plans can be. Start making them now and hope for the best. So if it works out, we'll have a storefront set up at Quartzsite for December, January, and February this year.
Dang,
She
I'm
says
excited
they need
for you,
more
buddy.
rocks in Florida. She needs more rocks in Florida. Tammy wants to know what you do, what your favorite thing to do other than spheres is.
Other than spheres, so just like in my real life, I am an avid outdoorsman, hunting, fishing. Like honestly, at this time of year, I run a lot of trap lines for nuisance animals for a lot of the ranchers around here. I love doing it.
Okay. Very nice.
Good work, and you're helping people. Does anybody have like any kind of advice questions for Brad, like as far as like sphere making goes?
I don't know. I got a few spheres we can show if people are interested. Let's see.
We are. I want to see.
This is green Leopard Oat that I finished up. This stuff comes out of South Dakota. I don't know. Let's see how much we can see. If you can see the mica, it's pretty much mica, quartz, and feldspar that makes up Leopard Oat.
That's really pretty. Okay, so my favorite spheres have vugs. And do you find that polishing spheres with vugs is like a completely different animal?
So I make a lot of spheres out of geodes. It's actually one of my most favorite sphere to make is the geodes. Now that I sit here and think about it, somebody asked me what my favorite is. And the reason I like the geode spheres is because if I get a good geode that's got a real nice crystal pocket inside of it, when you grind that open and you make it so you got this nice little groove right here out of a geode and you're looking inside of it, they're just so neat. But yes, they open a whole new can of worms. If that opens up faster than it gets round, there's things I can do, like you pour paraffin wax inside the cavity, and then you put a thin layer of concrete over the top of it. Now I finish spinning it to get it round. That way it don't crush and crumble on you. So there's little tricks that you have to do on every piece of rock to make them run right. But yeah, the stuff like you said with the vugs, the bigger the vug, the more of a challenge they're going to put at you.
I know Matt got a really cool sphere from you that has bugs.
To get it.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, he got that. I believe that was a lightning.
I'm going to make
agate.
you big real quick.
Red lightning agate, yeah.
Look at that.
What
Everyone
you
can
decided
see.
it was too.
Wow.
It definitely is red lightning. Yeah, he had me look
Ryan,
at it too.
I'm gonna say that's what I thought it was, but I didn't ever want to swear to it. But that one turned out pretty cool. And see, so that one wasn't too bad. It's got a lot of bugs in it, but the bugs were small enough that they didn't cause me too much problems in the grinding or polishing process.
What looks like calcite or rhyolite? What is it, rhyolite or calcite that's in it? It looks like cement kind of around there.
It's the rhyolite matrix that the actual agate itself forms inside of.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so Gold Prospecting wants to know how long does it take to make a sphere start to finish on your machine?
So so if I start from the time I put it in the saw to the time I got a polished sphere, I'm between 12 and 15 hours on the average. I've got one right here. This is one I just. Oh. Pardon me.
That's just one sphere.
One sphere. You figure you're 26 cuts. Anybody who runs a slab saw knows how long it takes to take a slab. Well, make 26 of those cuts. I mean, you just spent several hours just in your machine.
That's a whole work.
So do you have to babysit your machine then? Do you have to be like, okay, in 3 hours, I need to go in and I need to change cups? Is that basically how it works?
No. So here we go. If in my saw, I can turn on my saw. I know about how long it's going to take that cut. I could go do other stuff, come back to the saw. Now, once I get into the machine, I have to stay pretty close to that machine because you want that sphere you want that sphere in this kind of motion at all times. You never want it to stop. So if I turn my back and it hangs up for some reason, well, now I've got a cup sitting here and a cup sitting here that's just grinding away in this position. So all of a sudden I'll get this. So once it goes into the sphere machine, yes, you better stay watching it all the time. This is one I was going to show when you asked about the time. This is one I know I mentioned in our group. I have 22 hours of grinding time just to get this thing round. It's an agate. This thing was, and it's 4 3/4 inch round.
Where's that?
Is that pigeon blood?
You know, I'm not 100% sure, to be honest with you, Kirsten. I've never decided. This is a customer's rock. They found it rock counting, and I didn't even ask him where that he asked me to turn it. But yeah, there's 22 hours just to get this thing from this to round. And then polishing went within just a couple of hours of polish.
Brad, I need pictures of that. I actually think if it's not pigeon blood, it might be coprolite.
You think I do not.
10 times in your hand, and I've just been sitting here looking like, yeah,
I'll send you some pictures, Ryan, but I'm going to bet if it's coprolite, that turd was the size of a semi-truck.
That's one big dinosaur.
Never know.
And the reason I say that, and obviously dinosaurs are big, so they probably left pretty good sized piles, but that piece when I put it in the saw weighed about 185 pounds.
Okay, well they've found pieces of poo you can go look up like the size of a Volkswagen Beetle. So that's possible.
True.
So
Maybe it is possible then. But whatever it is, I'll send some pictures later. But whatever this is, it was hard.
It's just the lighting. The lighting looks like really highly agatized coprolite to me.
So like I said, I've
and
made
it looks like
spheres.
pigeon blood to me.
It could be. It could be.
And so to kind of put into perspective just how lucrative this is for Brad, if it takes 22 hours to make that, you've now gotten paid a third of what a underpaid teacher makes for teaching school.
So here we go.
It's nothing.
For customers, I do make custom spheres for people. You ship me the rock, I make a sphere. I charge $30 an inch to make a sphere, and that's finished inch. I don't measure until my sphere is done. So this sphere right here, you go ahead and figure that out. That's just a little over 4.5 inches, not quite 4 3/4. The customer's going to pay me $135 for that sphere.
Wow,
So-
that's
Nothing.
great.
I mean, you go ahead and figure that math out.
Exactly.
Just on the 22 hours I told you of grind, that doesn't count my time in the saw. That doesn't count the time polishing. I'm pushing probably close to 30 plus hours in that saw for $135. I don't make no money off the spheres.
the blade for the saw costs more than that $130.
Yeah.
I run an old 60s Highland Park 24-inch saw. My blades are 300. My blades are $300 a pop. So if I wipe out a blade in the middle of making your sphere, well, I paid you to make the sphere for you.
So you got to grind 3 spheres to pay for the blade.
Pretty much.
Wow.
Yep. And so that's why I always, when people come into the shows and they like, here we go. Here's a small little rhyolite sphere. Super pretty. I'm going to put that on the table. I'm going to have, without my calipers, I'm going to tell you I've got about a $90 price tag on that sphere.
I was going to say 100, so I don't think you're off at all. It's nice.
I've had a lot of people look at them and say, oh my gosh, that's awful expensive for that thing. Well, you go ahead and if you really look at just my math, it's not counting the material cost. I make less than $3 an hour on the spheres. So I definitely don't do them to get rich. I do them for the enjoyment. And I love watching how these spheres turn out. I mean, it's just amazing. I had a customer send me a big old piece of, what was it? Mookieite. and it was like 18 by 18 inch chunk of mookie. He told me, no, it wasn't. Excuse me, it was Norina Jasper. And he told me,
Norina, okay.
It was all Norina Jasper. Well, when I got all said and done with it, every sphere was different out of that Norina Jasper.
Norina?
Yeah,
it's one of my favorites.
And it made some amazing spheres, and there were a couple of them turned out that you looked at and you said, those are okay, but some of them, and it just depends on how you cut it. I mean, I could take a lot more
names all over there.
Yeah,
on some of them, I bet.
And I don't necessarily take the time. If you give me a piece of rock that's 18 by 18, I'm not going to cut it until I find that perfect piece that I can get you a 3-inch sphere, because look how much material I wasted trying to get that perfect sphere. I'm just going to start blocking it, and you get the sphere that you get out of what the material is, so I don't waste your material. You get more money or more sphere for your money at that point.
Thank you, Brad. This has been awesome. I have the giveaway numbers Andrew just brought me.
Okay, so looks like everybody is coming back. Ryan's moving, Brad's moving, Matt's moving, and Brad's moving. Guys, so we froze. I don't know what's going on at the internet. I'm hoping everybody could hear me through that. Do you want to finish up what you were saying? And I think we'll move on to the giveaway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think
show that one more time. We froze, buddy. Show that one more time.
Nobody, we missed this one.
Yeah. Really nice varnish on there. Oh, that's beautiful. It looks like a planet. I love it.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, I think we've come to the conclusion with everybody I've talked to that this is a piece of mookieite.
It is. I believe it is.
Mookieite or moakite?
Mookieite.
Mookieite?
Mookieite.
Mookieite?
Yeah. See, and I've always heard mookite.
I've always heard mookite
My friend Anton from Australia will tell you it's mookieite.
That's because he can't say mookite.
Oh, thank you, Bill. Bill let me know that while we were frozen, he was hearing me fine. That's good. I'm glad to hear that. So
we had 11 guessers tonight.
We had 11 people making comments, and we had, I believe, at one point, like 25 people in the show. So you guys make sure that if you are just coming in, you just pop in and say hi in the comments, because otherwise you're not entered into the drawing, and we want everyone to have an equal opportunity to win. So tonight's giveaway, Brad, I'm gonna make you small, and I'm gonna make me big. Here we go. Okay, so for tonight's giveaway, wait, what happened? Oh,
Ryan got a little tickled there.
We lost Brad. He'll be back. So we have a lapidary journal. What's really cool about this is the top half of each page is blank, and then it's lined, so you can draw your design, and then you can add your notes of like how you're going to do things, what steps you're going to take, everything like that. So this is a really nice thick lapidary journal. So that's in there, and then I have this really amazing quartz crystal mushroom, because I am obsessed with mushrooms, guys. I am obsessed. Okay. So we got this quartz crystal necklace that one of my very good friends, Jackie Binder, made. And then I have some dinosaur bone and a bunch of tumbled stones and a little tiny... Oh! I'm dropping stuff everywhere. And then a little tiny piece of Tiffany stone. So just a little variety there. That's going to go out to the winner. So whoever gets it tonight, be sure to send a message to me or all of us at rocktalklapidary@gmail.com. I will put that on the...
If that has dinosaur bone in it, we should all get to be in the drawing.
It's a tiny piece of dinosaur bone, but it is dinosaur bone.
This is a couple weeks in a row, David's like, Why can't I do this?
Oh, she gives away all this great stuff that I don't have.
David, you should start showing up.
I don't need to be big anymore. So let's have, there was 11, 1 through 11. We'll have Brad go ahead and guess because Brad was our guest tonight.
Let's go with number 5.
Annie.
I am
Svensson.
making you big. You're big.
Annie Svensson is the winner.
So,
Congratulations, Annie.
Awesome.
Annie. So go ahead and send an email with your mailing address over to Rob
I'm
Talk
looking on
Lapidary,
here.
and I will get it out to you right away.
How long has it been since Annie commented, though?
Oh, I don't think
long?
it matters. Maybe she's
I don't
still
either.
watching and not commenting and just enjoying our conversation. You never know, right?
Congrats, so Annie. That was really good. I was just trying to look out for Dave and see if he still had a chance. Sorry, Dave.
Yeah, I commented. I bet nobody entered me. I commented in the chat.
Dave, you lost out.
Dave, you're not on this list. Andrew knows better.
Oh, no. Andrew is Ryan's other half
He is my
for
other half,
Glacier
my little
Bros.
brother.
So, yeah. So he's our technical advisor, and he helps in the background. He doesn't generally come on camera, but he is definitely part of our team. So if you have any questions in the comments before we end tonight, if anybody has any lapidary questions or questions about rocks in general, go ahead and ask them now. Is a really good time. And then we'll go ahead and close out the show like we normally do. Oh, so many congratulations. That's nice, guys. That's
I
real
love
nice.
that, guys.
Awesome.
Yep, for sure.
So I want to take a minute to say next week on Tuesday at 7 p.m., we have our next live sale. It's live sale number 3, and it looks like Ryan and David will be selling.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah. So if you guys want to talk a little bit about what you're going to bring out, that'd be cool.
Go ahead, Ryan. You're the
Oh,
guy with
us?
knowledge, man.
Okay, so definitely just slabs and rough. We're gonna have agates from all over the world. I literally have like 15 colors of Millefori that will be selling on that show. That's gonna be real. So
Millefori glass is pretty fun
Yeah.
stuff. It makes
Love it.
really cool cabs. Yeah.
And
And then-
go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to ask you what you're bringing.
On my part, I am, because we support the charity with the pop sockets. I'm going to lay out a bunch of the better pop sockets next week and promote those, because that's what we use to buy the rock tumblers for the kids who have autism. So everything that we do on our side, that all goes to the kids. We do have a little cost incurred once in a while, so we have to help out with some of that. But otherwise, everything that we sell, come and look at the pop sockets, come look at the slabs that Ryan's going to have. Hopefully we're just going to have a good time, just like we do right here.
yeah.
I can't imagine being with Ryan and not having a good time.
okay, fair enough.
Oh, he brings the fun, that's for
He's
sure.
a riot.
Hey, Brad.
Yes,
What,
sir.
how big of a piece of rough do you got to have to make a 3-inch sphere?
So a 3-inch sphere takes about a 3.5 by 3.5 inch block.
All right, Jaws was asking.
So you
Yeah.
pretty much any size sphere you want to make out about a 1/2 inch of material for it.
And you said you could go how big, Brad?
I can make up to about 6 inch.
You can make
That's a big
6-inch
sphere.
spheres, Andrew. I need a Maramama sphere.
I got some
So-
Marabama in the saw right now, Ryan.
Son of a
My
gun.
question is, I don't know, maybe you already asked this and I was distracted with what I'm doing in the background here, but when you're polishing, like, if it's a smaller piece, does it take less time or does it base on hardness?
So it's kind of both, Kirsten. Obviously, if it's a smaller sphere, like say a 3.5 or a 3-inch sphere, I have less surface area to grind off. So it will grind a little faster. Now, when it comes to polishing is about the same amount of time. It doesn't matter what it is. But when you're in the grinding stage, they do round out a little faster when they're smaller.
That makes sense.
Kenny asked a question, and that was how big of a sphere. So you're maxed out at 6 inches, huh?
I'm not maxed out at 6 inches. That's just the biggest. My machine. My machine will do up to 10-inch spheres. I just don't have the cups to do it.
Yep. So next week we have Kevin
coming up.
Sekakuku. I am sure I'm saying his name wrong. Does anyone else know how to
Kevin
say
Sekakuku. No, it's great.
Kevin
that was great.
Sekakuku? Okay.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. He is a stone carving genius. And
oh, my Lord.
One of the things I do and teach is stone carving. So I'm super excited, you guys, to have him on. He is going to be a blast to learn from. And tonight, I just got to say, Brad, thank you for sharing the ins of making spheres and answering everybody's questions. I just want everybody to feel like this is a great big family. You guys are here. We love you all. I know, Tammy, I have a very dirty mind. I cannot help it.
Me too, my bad.
Yeah. So anybody watching or just listening on Spotify is lost right now, but I think everybody watching caught it. Let's see. So, and that's it. Just like, share, subscribe, hit that bell, and be there Tuesday for us. I'd like to give everybody a chance to say goodnight. We'll start with Matt.
Good night, everyone. Thanks for dropping in, checking us out.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Thanks, Matt. How about Dave? David Layton.
Hey, thanks everybody for coming. Before I go, I want to say, Brad, you did a phenomenal job. I thought this was a great show. Everybody, I'm going to remind you, don't forget, we have these wonderful little rock top lapidary stickers that you can get, $2 a piece. If you buy 10 or more, $1.75. Kirsten can get you the email address. Let her know what you want, and we'll see everybody next week. Thank you so much.
You know what? I'm going to bring Matt back on just for a quick second. Just because we love you. No, we did have one. We did have one last question, and Tammy brought it to my attention. Thank you, Tammy. What rocks spark when cabbing?
A lot if you don't have enough water.
Right.
Absolutely. Water is key. Water is key. If you have enough water, you're not going to get sparks.
Gotta have something to do with not enough lubrication, right? It's got to be water.
Definitely.
Pushing too hard will cause you to spark too, because again, it goes back to the water. Though you don't have enough coolant, and you're just trying to push on it. And...
Yeah.
Okay. So I think we answered everybody's question. So bye, Matt. Bye, David. All right, Ryan, you're up. Deer in the headlights.
No.
Yeah, we gotta go.
Oh,
sorry.
Ryan.
We'll be back Tuesday.
Oh yeah, I get to sell stuff.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, Brad, we know, we love you. That was a lot of fun.
Thanks,
I had a
Ryan.
good time. I always like hearing about your spheres. It's like slabbing, but you get to do it in a 3-dimensional perspective. It really is, though. He gets to see the thing.
Okay, bye, Ryan. Okay, Brad, thank you so much for being on with us tonight. I really enjoyed learning from you. What final comments do you have for the guest or for our subscribers?
Well, everybody, thanks for listening to me ramble. I hope I didn't bore people too much. I know I like to talk a lot, especially when it's something I'm so passionate about. I'd love to talk about rocks and spheres and just in general BS with friends and family. So again, everybody, thank you for listening to me ramble. I hope you learned a little bit tonight anyways. please feel free to reach out to me. Follow me on JBB Rocks and Metal Art on Facebook to keep track. I try to post all new pictures and new rocks and stuff as I go. But again, please don't feel free to reach out to me with any questions you have. I'm more than happy to answer if I can. If not, I'll find the answer for you.
Awesome, Brad. Thank you. We will see you next week when we have our guest, Kevin Sekakuku. And I hope that I'm saying that right.
We'll be there.
Okay, bye. I'll see you this weekend.
Okay.
All right, you guys. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And we just want you to get to know us. We want you to feel like we're family, because that's what we're trying to build, is a community, a tight community, where we help each other, we answer questions, we reach out. So please, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to rocktalklapidary@gmail.com or look any of us up on Facebook. All of our links are in the description of the video. And I just want to say thank you. Have a great night and keep on rocking. Oh boy. Okay. Bye guys. Have a great night.
Great show, guys. Let's go. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. See you next Thursday at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time.